problem for Democrats right now is if they're primaried by a bunch of Bernie Sanders, AOC-type Democrats, they're going to have a real hard problem flipping the House. I mean, look, they only have to win a couple of seats. And while these folks really sort of gin up the base, they get people really excited, Democrats really excited. When it comes to independent voters, a lot of those types think Democrats are out of touch. They don't like what they see as sort of Democrats moving further left. So, like, that's not necessarily a win. And
I welcome this AOC and Bernie Sanders being at the forefront in politics. Contrast as a currency of victory. I welcome debating the fact that they advocate for economic socialism over capitalism. I advocate for the fact that they want a very socialist cultural America, that most Americans are saying some of these ideals are too far to the left for the vast majority of us. Republicans will win every single time. Democrats tried this playbook before with Bernie Sanders. They elevated AOC before. It did not work well electorally for them. So if this is the direction that they're going to go in, I welcome it, Dan.
She inspires young people all over the country.
Would you like to see her joining the Senate?
Right now, we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more. This is important.
No, I asked you.
Okay.
You know, you want to do nonsense, do nonsense.
No.
I don't want to talk about inside the Beltway stuff. I got 32,000 people.
I was just asking you about AOC because she was out there with you.
No, fine, but I don't want to talk about this.
Another episode of Democrats are wildly unpopular and out of touch. And this is something, I agree with you saw clips from the intro. I agree that progressives don't know how to talk to people in the middle. They don't know how to talk to true centrists, true people who just lean left or right. They don't know how to talk to independents. Independent here, I've been making videos. Even though I'm conservative leaning, even though I lean Republican, I'm still independent. They don't know how to talk to me. They don't know how to, this is why I keep making videos about how out of touch the Democratic Party truly is. They think they swear up and down. Their policies are so popular, right? But progressives are the biggest advocates of defending illegals. Yet 63% of Americans want illegals deported from the country. Yet the leftists, the progressives, they like to fashion themselves as we're the majority. No. You're not the majority. Because if you was truly the majority, the rest of the country will be like you. But most of you guys, y'all live in California, y'all live in New York, y'all live in Seattle, y'all live in these very dominated blue states, having this self-delusion that somehow you're popular. No, you're not. You're popular in your state, maybe. And even then, y'all struggle to win elections even in your own state. And it's so baffling to me how arrogant the left truly is, right? They are unpopular, new shock. They're wildly unpopular. They don't seem they want to change at all. Now they think they're going to double down on this progressive trend. Go ahead. You saw in the intro that Bernie Sanders left an interview merely because the guy asked him a question. Hey, do you believe that AOC should be in the Senate? And he's like, no, I don't want to have this conversation with you. And they leave. Here's a post that I think I resonate with. The modern left is basically four groups of people. Boomers who watch cable news all day. Minors who get free stuff. College-educated women who went back-ish crazy on SSRIs and birth control. Mentally ill gender goblins who are on the verge of shooting up an elementary school. Tim Walz, he was totally joking when he celebrated Tesla's stock going down, says Musk makes him unhealthy. And this is the problem with the Democrats. They say stuff and they always got an excuse. Oh, I was joking. Just like Joe Biden was joking when he said, if you have a problem between choosing me or Donald Trump, then you ain't black, right? Oh, he was joking. Always got an excuse, right? Oh, Donald Trump wants to deport Tendagua. And Chuck Schumer said, no, that's a threat to our democracy.
Do you agree, is the United States in a constitutional crisis?
Yes, I do, Kristen, and democracy is at risk. Look, Donald Trump is a lawless, angry man. He thinks he should be king. He thinks he should do whatever he wants, regardless of the law. And he thinks judges should just listen to him. Now, we have to fight that back in every single way. And we actually have had over 100 cases in the courts where we've had a very good record of success. So Donald Trump, infuriated by that success, said judges should be impeached. Let me tell Donald Trump and the American people, Democrats in the Senate will not impeach judges, full stop.
And this is why progressives are so out of touch with people in the middle. And every time Democrats use this line, threat to our democracy, I always replace it in my brain. It's like I'm just wired different at this point when it comes to Democrats with their fake fear mongering, right? This is why I call the Democratic Party the party of fear hustlers, right? They want to sit here and pretend that the other guy is going to destroy the whole entire country. We had this guy before 8 years ago, sorry. And we're like, yo, we like the results he was given. You exaggerate, like all this exaggeration and hyperbole, it's what's really hurting the Democratic Party. They pretend, oh my God, we care about dangerous rhetoric. But then when you go on X, people present their points. They present a clip. They say, hey, look, Democrats are complaining about dangerous rhetoric and language, but this same Democratic Party has been calling Donald Trump for decades a Nazi, racist, authoritarian. But Donald Trump references an old law that was passed by a president and Congress. All of a sudden, he's violating the Constitution. It's a constitutional crisis. It seemed like everything that goes against the Democratic interest is a constitutional crisis. And this boy who cried wolf scenario that the Democrats keep putting themselves in is one of the reasons why no one takes their objections to Donald Trump seriously. This is why they're unpopular with many American people, because end of the day, Americans want mass deportation. Oh, Donald Trump wants to rule like a king. Who voted for that king? Who voted for that king? The American people. So isn't the American people wanting what he was selling? You were selling an opposing vision. Oh, we have a comprehensive border plan. Yeah, a comprehensive border plan to place illegals, spread them all across the country, especially in swing states, to stack the favor in Democrats' favor. Yeah. You had a comprehensive border plan, all right. And you got mad that the American people saw through your BS.
Senator Schumer, Leader Schumer, talk about a constitutional crisis. There are some Democrats who, of course, agree with him and are really worried by these attacks. You think of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court saying in that extraordinary statement that the right way to do this is through the appellate process and not through impeaching judges. But I also have been talking to some Democrats, younger Democrats, who are worried that if Democrats are saying it's a constitutional crisis now, if President Trump moves to impeach Supreme Court justices, if he pushes back in some other way that is even worse than what they're seeing now, that this language could become a little too hard to navigate, and that there wouldn't be language to ratchet it up.
Yeah, Adrian, what about that point? Could this language around constitutional crisis be getting ahead of the curve and basically giving away some key cards too early in the fight?
Well, exactly, and I think Misha's exactly right. I think we have to be very careful when we use this type of language. You could certainly make the argument, especially when Trump defied the courts on the movement of illegal aliens. You can make the argument that he is defying the courts, and that could lead us into a constitutional crisis. But I don't.
Why they don't say constitutional crisis about judges overstepping their bounds, overstepping their authority? Should the judge be sitting here trying to restrict what Donald Trump is doing? Come on. Let's listen to this discussion of them debating about the direction of the Democratic Party.
People can throw all these terms out. They can label certain economic policies. They can talk about the NASDAQ. They can talk about the stock market. None of that matters to people, actually, right? What matters to people is their actual lived experience, how they are feeling in their day-to-day life. What people know is that they can't buy a home. They can't send their kids to college. They can't retire with dignity.
All that is due to inflation. And what's the cause of inflation? If you ask a Democrat this, they'll struggle to really answer this. Or they'll try to say, oh, government, corporations are price gouging. No, it's the government. The government printing of money is what causes inflation. Inflation is an invisible tax on you getting free stuff. That's why there's no such thing as free. All you're doing is moving the cost from one thing to another thing. That's all you're doing. You're playing a house of cards here. That's what the government is doing when they're printing unlimited money to give you free-ish that they can't afford to give you, but they say they'll give it to you to appease you emotionally for the short term, but in the long term, it hurts everybody. That's government printing for you. That's government spending. But, people can't make that tie-in. And that's why I think it's so important what Doge is doing by cutting out the government bloat. Because if we can get the government in a balanced budget, inflation will be less of a problem for us. And that's why people can't afford these things. That's why it costs you almost damn near twice the amount of money to be able to get started owning a home. Because of inflation. During the Biden years, highest inflation rate in 40 years, 2022. Joe Biden's economy did that. Joe Biden was spending money like crazy. He was spending government money like crazy. He was spending money at the levels of wartime. Make that make sense. Biden, the biggest spender during peacetime, make that make sense for United States of America. Make that make sense. You can't. And then we suffered the outcomes of that. And what was Democrats' plan? What was Kamala's plan? Spend more government money. No, everyone sees the tie-in. Oh no, this is creating an inflationary situation where everything's inflated. That's why the stock market is damn near crashing, because Donald Trump decided, let's turn off the money. Let's stop feeding the money into the economy. And you find out how reliant a lot of these companies were on government money. It has to stop. The refs can't keep making you have artificial calls because the ref's funneling money to your team, or you're funneling money to the ref for favorable positions in the market. No, it's done. You gotta stand on your own. You either fail on your own or you stand on your. That's it. You succeed or fail on your own. Businesses, stop looking for bailouts. And this is the moral hazard many people complained about during 2008 when Obama bailed out the banks. They're like, "Yo, you're bailing out people who deserve to have their businesses closed because you think they're too big to fail." That's a subjective argument. Like, no one knows that something's truly too big to fail. Big corporations shut down all the time. You don't see it shockwaves around the country, and you wonder why hedge fund managers, 90% of them donate to the Democratic Party, but you're pretending that you're fighting against the rich. Okay, Democrats, no one's really believing you.
That the American dream, which is, your children and grandchildren's lives will be better than yours, is out of reach for over half of America, if not more, right? And that's what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about, these economic, ideological things. We're not going to engage in the culture war. We are here to make people's lives better. We are here to not ensure an outcome, because where I'm from, people don't want an outcome insured for them. All they want is a fair shake, and they want a level playing field, and that's what the Democratic Party
Congressman,
is about.
I think you're 100% correct, and I agree with you. You sound more like a moderate Republican, if I got to be honest. That's not the argument been advocated for by AOC or Bernie Sanders. They are advocating for more government control. You're right, Americans do want dignity of work. They do want to make sure that they're making more money, but they don't want the government data to assure that. And that's what those two extremely progressive leftward individuals in your party
I couldn't disagree more. You want to talk about big government and big government control? You talk about the Trump administration. They are all about big government. They want big government up in everybody's business right now. They want it in our Social Security system. They want it in our Medicaid system. They want, they want to.
Imagine that. Cutting stuff is more government control. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. These people, bro, professional liars, what I call Democrats. Look at that. Oh, you want to talk about tyranny? How is it tyranny to cut down the funding for institutions that have great control and influence over Medicare, all this other stuff? And then you find out these policies actually made health insurance more expensive.
Dismantle DOE because they actually want control over local school districts.
That makes no sense. If you want control over local school districts' education, you keep the Department of Education, not defund it, not remove it, because that's a centralized hub where you can control and influence all the other Department of Educations around the state. How removing the central point out of your Washington and make the controls more localized, how is it giving you more control over education?
Districts, and they want to go away from local control like we have in Colorado.
It makes no damn sense, bro. It makes no damn sense. But hey, Democrats, they're not known to make sense, right? They think men can be women, women can be men. They think it's smart to sit here and defend illegals, right? They sitting here thinking, oh, we're doing stuff in the best interest of your heart. And then you find out, hey, the goal of the Biden administration was to strategically place illegals in swing states and make their status legal, thereby turning swing states Democrat. Doesn't this sound like authoritarians and controls? That's what Democrats are doing, right? Oh, government control is cutting Medicare. Make that make sense. Obamacare destroyed affordable insurance and healthcare quality, but it made a whole lot of awful insurance companies obscenely rich, which was the whole point. This is what Affordable Care Act did to healthcare cost. So Obama passed it, healthcare insurance is increased. But you was praising it as a good thing, progressives, and this is where progressives the rubber starts meeting the road with progressives. You see here, keep saying your policies are popular, but the outcomes aren't popular. That's why you only brag about the intentions of a policy, not the outcomes of your policy. You pretend, oh, look, well, all these people have healthcare insurance. They're expensive as hell, though. Your program was supposed to make health insurance cheaper, not more expensive. But you inflated the price. Why? Because government money got involved. And the funny part about progressive is they keep advocating that government is the solution, when in reality, the results keep showing that government involvement is the problem. But I digress. I think I gave my point. I think I made my point. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What you guys are thinking about the Democratic Party. Do you think them going towards more progressive, more far left is actually a benefit or to their demise? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear what you guys are thinking. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. Please share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.